Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tag video. This is called the Spring Cleaning Tag. So this was originally created by Daniel over at the book blog Page to Page. So I will of course leave all that information linked below. There are a couple rules, of course. So rule number one, of course, link back to Daniel. I'm reading it off his bloggy thing here. Rule number two, respond to the scenarios, and rule number three, tag 5 people or however many you like. So I will go ahead and start thinking about that now. Okay, so rule number one, and I'm going to be relying heavily on my phone for this because all of these scenarios are super, like, I want to say cinematic because they like really set the scene. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's time to make your bed, but you're going to have some friends over later and want to pick out the perfect book to place on your nightstand for them to see your reading. Which book do you choose? So I have chosen the Song of Achilles, which is quite fitting because I have my Song of Achilles inspired earrings on. I do love them very much. Okay, so this book, the reason I've chosen this book for this prompt is because this book made me feel smart. And like, that's kind of dumb to say, but like it really made me feel smart. And in addition to that, this is a very polarizing book. People are either absolutely in love with it, like myself, or they're like, not for me. And I feel like having this on my nightstand, if I was having friends over, I feel like this would really be a conversation starter. And I loved it, and it made me feel smart. And I mean, these are everything. I also have another pair that remind me very much of Achilles, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap. I'll show you, I'll be right back. Okay, so I grabbed my Song of Achilles inspired earrings. This is like a Greek bust thing. It's got like the little head and the flowers growing out of it. And then of course my bow and arrow. This is my perfect pair of Song of Achilles earrings. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, made me feel smart, and it was a very polarizing book, and it just like, this is probably one that I want to reread, so it's fitting that it's kind of on my nightstand. Oh no, the house needs dusting, but you just can't put that book that you're reading down. What book would you buy on audio just so you can continue the story while cleaning? I chose this book not necessarily because I enjoyed like the book itself, like I did enjoy it, but like I think that like when I read this prompt, the first thing I thought of was what book would I read again or listen to again on audio versus physically reading. Another thing that went through my head when I was selecting this book was, what is one book that I would recommend that instead of physically reading you listen to? And that is going to be The Night Swim by Megan Golden. This book was so perfectly read to you on audio. You had the podcast elements, which are always some of my favorite to listen to rather than read through. And I think we have probably something like 10 episodes of the podcast, which is called Guilty or Not Guilty. Anytime we have a podcast element, I definitely prefer to listen to these rather than physically read them, because especially when they're well done, like this one and then Sadie, were two of the perfect books for me to listen to rather than read. I'm sure they are just as good reading, but for me, I really love that podcast element, so it's perfect for me to listen to. So I would definitely pick this one up if I needed to clean my house. Darn it! The ceiling is leaking. Turns out mass market paperbacks are the best things to soak up water. Which popular book do you use to soak up the water? For the popular book that I would use to soak up water, I'm sorry, you can cancel me now. This is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. This, it was a time. It's about a girl, I'm sure you already know what it is, but just in case you don't, it's about a girl who makes a deal with the devil to remain living and remain herself and everything like that. And unfortunately, all of the deals made after dark come at a cost, and the cost for this scenario is that she is not remembered. So I feel like the premise of this book, I've said it in my wrap up, I feel like the premise of this book was a lot more sad than the actual book. So for me, it was just like, it was a meh book. I wanted to love it because I have like V.E. Schwab's books in the past, but this just wasn't it for me. So this is what I'm using to soak up the water leaking from my ceiling. I'm sorry, but I'm also not gonna lie. Bathrooms need a good scrubbing, and your 2000s Cosmo are a little outdated and need replacing. What book do you put in the bathroom for some light reading for when people need to take care of business? For this scenario, I have chosen My Lady's Choosing. It is an interactive romance novel. I think we all remember the Choose Your Own Adventure books from when we were younger, and like they've sort of made a resurface, if you will, with some Choose Your Own Adventure TV shows, movies. I've seen a couple booktubers put up Choose Your Own Adventure videos. The reason I say that is because, at least in my experience, all the Choose Your Own Adventure books that I read when I was a kid, oh, this is by Katie Curran and Larissa Zageries. The reason I've selected this book is because I feel like, because it's not like a full-length novel that you read like from start to finish, I feel like I could start on the first page and then, you know, you make a decision and then you turn to that next page where your decision comes to play. Yeah, let's see. If so, turn to page 14. Okay, and then you have to turn to page 168. And then you turn to page 316. And then eventually, like, you'll just run out of story. So you go to page 324. And then this one says you go to page, yeah, the end. So you will have read just a few short chapters. So I feel like this is a perfect one. And then, like, you know, arguably you could go and you could choose one scenario and you could follow it to the end, and then the next time you're in the bathroom you follow another scenario to the end. I feel like that could be kind of like fun because you're not having to read it from front to back. You can just sort of have like a little snack every time. So that would be my choice for the light reading. Family is coming over, but you have no idea what to make for dinner. You read somewhere that tearing up the last chapter of a book whose ending you hated and sprinkling it in a casserole dish makes for the perfect meal. Which book do you choose? And for this one, I'm going with The Wives by Taryn Fisher. If you watched my wrap up, which I will link below since most of these books are on there, you know that the first, like, I don't know, like right up until it started part 2, I think, I was enjoying it, and I would have been a 4 to 5 star read for me. But as soon as we got to part 2, I hated it and I wanted to throw it in the garbage. So unfortunately for my dear family, I'm cooking the second half of this book for you for dinner. Organization is key, right? When it comes time to organize your messy bookshelf, you realize you have enough room and enough money to get 3 new books. Which books do you buy? So for this one, I am going to check my wish list and see which ones are most important for me. I do want to go ahead and say, first and foremost, the first one on my list is, oh God, what's it called? It's by Sally Thorne. It's a new Sally Thorne. I will put the cover up right here while I try and locate it. Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This one actually comes out on the 12th, I believe. Is that right? Yes. Oh no, the 13th. So I will definitely be picking that one up on release, hopefully. And I just, you know, yes, that's what's happening. And then as far as the other 2 books that I would buy to put on my shelf, I currently would like to read Vow You Break by Peter Swanson. Let me go back. Sally Thorne is the author of The Hating Game. She also wrote 99% Mine. I loved The Hating Game, liked 99% Mine, and I'm hoping that I love, once again, Second First Impressions. And then the second book, Vow You Break by Peter Swanson, that is about a woman who I guess is going to get married, and like the night before her wedding, she low-key has an affair and he follows her to the island. I don't know, it sounds crazy and I want to read it. And then the third book that I would pick up is, I believe it's going to be The The Rule of Wolves. Yep, it's the King of Scars sequel by Lee Bardugo. It is, I can't tell you anything about it because I don't honestly remember the first book, but we're not going to talk about that. But that is one that came out on March 30th, so that is definitely on my top 3 to buy. So they're all 3 are going to be new releases. Hopefully I can find space on my shelf because they're coming home with me soon. Finally, some peace and quiet. But before you can relax, you realize you forgot to send your aunt a thank you for that lovely Adult Life for Dummies book she gave you for Christmas. Maybe she's trying to tell you something. What book do you send to her to show how much, this is sarcasm, you appreciate her gift? For this one, I went a different route. Rather than giving her a condescending book, I want to give her The House in the Cerulean Sea, because this one is everything. And obviously if she got me the How to Life for Dummies or How to Adult Life for Dummies, she needs some love in her life, and I hope that I can give it to her with this book. Okay, so that was a really fun, very like super specific book tag that I really enjoyed doing. And I hope that the following people will also maybe like doing it. The 5 people I'm going to be tagging to do this are CamScott Reads, Astrocaramel, Victoria Reads Sometimes, WyldReads, and Kelly. Kelly, I don't want to butcher your name, I'm sorry. I will leave them linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like me and would like to see more from me, please hit subscribe. I would be so happy to have you. Alright, I hope that you are being safe, wash your hands, taking care of yourselves. Bye guys.